Hi.
All right, hi.
All right, guys, welcome back. Episode, I don't know, we're kind of doing these a little out of order, so whatever episode it says in the thing is whatever episode this is. And we're getting some really cool feedback from you guys, so super duper appreciate that. As always, if you want to hit the like button, that helps us out, and then tell us, give us feedback. I don't care if you message us, if you know us, if you send a comment on the YouTube videos, like a lot of what we're going to be recording, guys, is informed by you guys and questions. Our goal is to create a library of useful information that people can use as a resource as we go forward. So. Some cerebral, some physical. So just stay involved, help us out, let us know it works. Interesting topic today. We have had many conversations about this on our mat. We've had many, I also put a video up recently about tools require training. And we were gonna talk a little bit about like, what is the level of training required to use the tool efficiently without getting yourself hurt? What are the risks in that? And where might you be able to put it to use? And then in some cases, what the effectiveness of that tool might be.
So, am I up first?
No, well, okay, do you want to talk about the anything clause?
Yeah, so basically anything can be used as a weapon. So it does get very fun when you can start to like think of things in your environment. So like right now, chairs. Chairs are really good weapons because you can use the pointy ends on the bottom as like a lion tamer. Or you can like
both
push
a shield
it.
and a bobber.
Yeah. Or you can like push them over to kind of create barriers. And it's something that like is, again, it's a barrier in front of you. So thinking about different things in our environment that are specifically a weapon. So anything can be used as a weapon.
Is the idea of affordances?
Yes.
Should we walk that out real quick?
Go for it.
Your affordances are your ability to see what can be done with a thing. So a chair, I can use a chair as a barrier, like Captain America's shield, and protect myself from incoming attack. I can use a shield as an impact weapon. We've seen some videos out there of people very effectively, a person has a knife or even a machete and a chair gets used really effectively as the defensive weapon against that edged weapon. The chair, however, can also be used for other stuff. One of the things Allison said quickly there was you can knock it over as a barrier. It can suddenly become a speed bump to slow down your aggressor, your attacker. If it's a wooden chair, what can I break it down to use? Maybe I need a splint because I have a broken leg. I can pull that chair apart and use it as a medical device. I can use it as kindling. I can use it as a doorstop. I can use it as a back scratcher. But I can only use it for whatever I can imagine. So one of our homework assignments for students frequently here on the mat is when you go to work one day or school, if you're a high schooler or a college student, what is, pick a moment in time, and at that moment in time, what's in your environment right now, and how could you possibly use it in the name of keeping yourself safe or keeping your friends safe or general survival stuff. That's what affordances is as a concept. So
kind of back to that, anything can be used as a weapon. It is accurate. Like even a cup of coffee could be used as a weapon, just because you can throw it in somebody's face, or just using that in that type of situation. So thinking about what in my environment right now can I pick out and what can be used as a weapon? How can it be used as a weapon? Or some sort of device to keep. Yeah, I know. I actually looked at the penguin. I was like, that thing. I would pull it out and be like, "Hello."
Distraction.
Don't attack me.
The distractor penguin.
It's cute.
All right, so we have a list of specified things that commonly are talked about, whether it's in our classes or really in the larger zeitgeist of self-defense concepts. And we're going to kind of start with the simple entry of one of our favorite tools is a flashlight. They make really small, really powerful LED flashlights now. You can spend $150 on them, but I spend around $35 usually. I personally like the Phoenix brand, F-E-N-I-X. I'll put a link in the description down below if you guys are curious. Of the one I carry personally. It is awesome as a blinding tool. I don't mean popping them in the eye, but we can talk about that too. But oftentimes we think about attacks in terms of like isolated attacks coming at night or in darkened areas. My ability to shine a really bright flashlight in somebody's eyes, blind them, and I can escape, or I can move off the X, where I'm getting attacked, I can get to a better point. And one of the cool things, the risk to me in a flashlight, almost nothing. Maybe I get blinded too for a moment, but I'm prepped for it, so I'm ready for it. And they can go everywhere. I've never not been allowed to take my flashlight, whether it's a concert, whether it's a sporting event, whether it's a museum, or whether it's through TSA. I've never had my flashlight be pulled from me and say, yo, you can't take this flashlight with you. So that's one of the reasons it's one of our most commonly and favorite. Very simple. I know it doesn't put holes in people per se. And then certain flashlights, depending upon your hand size, the size of the flashlight, can also be employed as an impact type tool for sensitive areas. You're not gonna knock somebody's skull off with it, I don't think, unless you're talking about the old mag lights, and then we're gonna talk about that stuff in a little bit. But like your small, simple, I have one on mine right now. Your small, simple flashlights, you know, that's just big enough. If I hold it correctly, I can then use it as an impact type tool, do some distraction strikes, and then get to safety and get out of there. So I know you've talked about this in Warrior Women from time to time.
Yeah, plus it's also just super helpful to have a flashlight, because then if you need to find something.
Oh, you mean the actual thing flashlights are most commonly used for? Yes, absolutely.
There's been a couple times where I've been in like a bathroom and the lights are on timers and the timer's not long enough.
Yep.
Because women, we take 9 hours in the bathroom anyways, but like,
no comment.
you might need the flashlight just to actually literally see where you are.
It's a very specific
you know,
problem.
so that was a very specific example, maybe women only, but
oh no guy spends a lot of time in the bathroom.
no, not at all. Maybe you're just hiding from your kids for a while.
Potentially.
And then the timer on the lights is only like 30 seconds and you want to hide from your kids more than 30 seconds. So,
have you heard this complaint from time to time, Allison?
A couple.
Fair.
No, never. Not from any moms. It's mainly they're hiding from their husbands, let's be honest.
Also possible.
So just using the tool for actually like what it's used for is another obviously pro.
Moving on to impact. So impact is anything that has enough mass to it that I can swing that can cause blunt force trauma. So this obviously we think about in the old school world like billy clubs. I mentioned before those big, you know, your grandfather's mag light. I actually keep one of those in my truck in the back because A, useful flashlight, B, kind of heavy, and aluminum, so very solid, very sturdy, able to take good impact to it. You know, what else can be used? What are your improvised tools? So how many of you are walking around with some variety, I don't know whose this is, it was sitting over here, but some variety of, you know, this is metal of some type, water bottle that I can then turn into and make use of as an impact style weapon. And I'm gonna give you guys a neat little add-on to that one. This, I forget who originally told us this, but as an I think it was Rory, as an impact weapon, shockingly effective. So take a Poland Spring type bottle, and I just use Poland Spring because that's the one I have. Take a little bit of the air out, which allows you to get a better grip on it and compress it. And I have hit this thing particularly hard against hard objects, specifically with these giant steel poles that support the ceiling here, and they haven't broken. I am certain at some point of impact against some object, it will break. But I know that the skull, while hard, because it has covering on it, is about as dense as the poles over here we have with covering on them. And I've hit them really hard with this. Do I think it's gonna end somebody permanently? No. Do I think if I hit them in the eye socket or the temple or the back of the head, something that I can cause some sort of distraction to get myself to safety or improve my ability to defend myself further? This is a really awesome improvised tool. And if I go and spend $17 at the airport for one of their water bottles, I now have this with me everywhere I go, including on an airplane. So you had a couple others on there.
Yeah, $17 is generous, but knitting needles as well. So those are actually allowed on an airplane, go figure.
And that bridges the gap between impact and pokey. We'll talk about pokey more coming up.
Oh, you wanted me just to talk about impact? I was just thinking of this water bottle as a nice like throat shot right underneath.
Absolutely.
That's what I was thinking about with impact.
Yep.
More about like those soft areas, throats.
And your pens.
Yep.
Pens fall in this weird category. Most, I mean, I hate this word, tactical pens, designed for pokey implements, but you know, they're very, very wide and they're gonna have a hard time. They're not gonna go through clothing. However, but an eye, I also talked about a throat. You know, you get these Kubotans. I see a lot of people carrying these things. I have a self-defense tool in my keychain. What is it? And I look out, it's a Kubotan. I'm like, oh, have we trained with that? No. what use is that? How are you gonna use it on somebody? I don't know. I'm just gonna swing my keys at them. I don't think you need the Kupaton for that personally, but we'll talk about that again in a little bit coming up.
Yep. So yeah, pens, knitting needles, anything that's like with like a little bit of a point or sharp can go into soft spots. So like we mentioned before, eyes, throats, like anything around the neck area.
Yep.
Even like
100%.
soft areas around like ribs. Like I wouldn't do like hard areas like chest or back or like
anything with a lot of meat. You're gonna have a hard time, you know.
But like you can kind of
getting even this into the rib is, you know, let's say I go low to go high, common self-defense concept, right? I don't want to go same place 3 times in a row. People start to defend that. But if I'm going like high, low, high, you pop the rib with this, that doesn't feel particularly good.
Nope.
Next up.
So spray, so like a pepper spray or
mace pepper spray.
Yeah.
Not wasp spray. Don't get that out of your heads. Bear spray.
Bear spray.
Amazon will send and ship bear spray to most people. That's if you need a really large canister by your back door.
So one of the things about obviously all of these weapons is making sure that you are training them and making sure that you can use them when you need to. So the other day, I've actually never carried pepper spray before. I've never even learned how to use it. And the other day in class, we were doing an experiment with basically improvised weapons, right? We were using books, we were using fake bricks, we were using the fake pepper spray that we had, the flashlights. So my job was to use the pepper spray and pepper spray one of the other senseis while he was attacking me. And I'm like in the middle over here, like actually like sweating because I've never used this before in my life. And I'm trying to figure out before I have to get in front of everybody to like pepper spray him. So I'm trying to figure this out, and it was easy. But when you've never trained it before and you're kind of now, I'm like adrenalized because now I have to do this in front of all my friends, all my peers. And now I'm like adrenalized. I'm like, what happens if I can't do this? Then it's like, it's gonna be super embarrassing because I teach this. So it's, so I had to try to figure it out really quickly. And it was surprisingly a little bit like difficult because he was attacking me. He was like grabbing, throwing punches at me, and I'm trying to still defend myself as I'm trying to get this pepper spray like to work to end the fight. And I ended up being able to pepper spray him. It was fake pepper spray. It was like one of those
trainer,
like,
it's an
trainers.
trainer, it's water.
So basically like the lesson in this is, you know, if you are gonna carry pepper spray, make sure that it's ready to go, like if you need it. Like I'll tell women all the time, like if you're in an area where you feel unsafe, then get your pepper spray out and ready to go. Like there's no need to have it still in your bag or your backpack. There's no need for that. Just have it out ready to go and practice doing it a couple times.
Have you seen the jogger ones?
Yeah, in the hand.
Yeah, it's like a strap on the back so you can jog with it on your hand. Worries me a little bit just because, I don't know, but.
It seems pretty hard to like just like actually like
do it accidentally,
especially like when you're running.
I presume in the design phase that was what they're trying to make sure you didn't pepper spray yourself easily.
That would suck if you were running and then you pepper sprayed yourself.
I already can't breathe.
I know.
Now I really can't breathe.
Oh boy. So just practicing that, getting used to doing that with your eyes closed. Get used to it doing it behind your back or doing it in your other hand, because I might be carrying something in my dominant hand, I might need to use it on my left hand. So if you are gonna buy pepper spray specifically, which I do recommend as a self-defense tool, buy it, but also buy the fake trainer and do a couple repetitions. Do it with somebody, like, I don't know, get somebody you don't like, or maybe a friend, like they have to be a really good friend, and have them like grab you and try to get that pepper spray off.
If you're local to us, there's our friend in Natick Center who sells a trainer combo with the actual pepper spray. If you're not, again, there's a particular one I ordered. Now technically we're in Massachusetts and Amazon will not send pepper spray to Massachusetts, but it will send pepper spray to New Hampshire. So if you have friends or family members or whatever up in New Hampshire, I'm just saying Amazon will deliver to there, and then you give them beef jerky so that they'll deliver your pepper spray or something along that lines. I'm not saying break the law. I don't think it's illegal, but either way.
Or you could go to B&K Sales in Natick Center.
Yeah, if you're here in Natick, there's a place locally that also sells pepper spray with the trainer attached, which is really, really useful. So.
Very useful for sure. Next up.
Knives. So we're obviously in the clearly defined, like, these are offensive potential tools, right? One of the things we hear a lot is, well, I walk my dog alone in the woods, but I carry my knife. Cool. Have you trained with that? No. Okay, cool. Well, you put life reps into cutting meat and cutting vegetables, so you technically know how a knife works. Have you ever thought about a knife against a person trying to grab onto you? Like, where are you putting that knife into them? What are you doing with it? One of the things with knives, and our next topic, is these things can be taken away from you. You know, I'm not going to pretend taking a knife away from an aggressive attacker is easy. It is incredibly hard. However, it can happen, and if you're untrained and you're nervous and you're sweaty and whatever else, you're just surprised. Like, losing something out of your hand is not hard to do. So the training factor on retention is its own training. Knowing where to put it to be effective with it. What is your goal and your intent? Technically, anything with a knife is lethal force, but maybe my goal is escape, so I go a slash across the facial region to give them something to react to, so I can then get myself out of the situation, get myself out of the circumstance. I'm sure most of the like moms that I've talked to who are carrying a knife in their purse are not thinking that they're gonna go into the throat and rip things out of there and get more stuff, as one of our friends likes to say. But they have a tool and have put no thought, which is the first step, and or actual practice into using the thing. So
you could also kind of add keys to that list of like little tiny,
your knitting needles as well.
Yeah, little tiny knives that you can, and I'm just gonna debunk this myth real fast. Don't put your keys between your fingers.
The Wolverine thing.
Yeah, this will not work. Hold it like you're holding a key, like you're gonna unlock your door. That's kind of how you would hold the key. And if any like soft area, especially like face area, if like slashing across, can cut open skin, and then head wounds bleed a lot, face wounds bleed a lot. So even if it's just a distraction, you might not be stabbing somebody with your key, but at least it's like a quick shot across the eyes. Maybe you get them to draw blood, or just distracted, or deter them from pursuing any further attack.
Next one.
That's all you, buddy.
You're also a member of the club.
I am.
We're talking about things that go pew-pew. So firearms, obviously, these are clearly offensive, defensive tools. They have a very specified purpose of putting holes at things at distance. That's really their specialty. I know theoretically they also can go back as an impact tool, right? Pistol whipping somebody. But generally speaking, that's not our first thought with a firearm. Again, no matter what Hollywood and John Wick and pew, 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 shows us, these things require training. Can they accidentally hurt a lot of people? Yes, absolutely. Do they require a huge amount of training to go bang? No. But if the gun malfunctions, people think, again, John Wick style, like shooting somebody at 30 yards is gonna be super easy in the left eyeball. I gotta tell you guys, it's not that easy. There was a self-defense shooting, an active shooter, active spree killer in a mall not that long ago, and a young man, I think it was about 40 yards, with a handgun, put something like 8 out of 10 rounds into the bad guy. The firearm community was agog at the accuracy at that distance, under that stress. It is fantabulous that he was able to pull that off. That's a really high level of skill. I know it sounds like, well, this kid did it, so it must be easy. It's exceedingly rare to be that accurate under that stress at that distance. So if you've never picked up a firearm, do it. I don't care if you're pro-gun or anti-gun. This is about a learning curve. Understand how the tool works. If you are thinking about, like, I'm going to go and transition to the world, like I said, Allison, being in the club, this thing requires training. It is not enough, sorry guys, to go to a Massachusetts 4-hour basic safety class, listen to somebody prattle on for 4 hours, put dummy rounds into a magazine, and then take them out of the magazine, and then know how to put it in a safe, and now say, now I'm good to carry that thing around. I'm sorry, I don't care what you think your God-given whatever rights are. You are required to train with this tool to a higher level of competency if you're going to walk around with it. I know a firearm and a car are not the same level of rights. I don't care. I'm talking about how competent do you need to be to put the thing to work. Unfortunately, I know people who've been to the basic 4-hour safety class and are then carrying the firearm with them all the time. I'm not even going to talk about where or how or stage or ready, not ready, that kind of position. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about your ability under duress to take the firearm from your concealed position, because we should be concealing it, and then put it into the fight and not make mistakes with it, be accurate with it, et cetera, et cetera. I have put literally tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of rounds downrange, and I still worry about being able to do this effectively, efficiently, without hurting myself or somebody else in the process. If you ever get complacent with that skill, you should not be carrying a firearm around, because complacency with dangerous things, we see what that does with vehicles and causing motor vehicle accidents. It's no different in terms of your skill. I'm not talking about your rights, I'm talking about your skill pulling the tool and putting it into. Obviously the risk is very high, just like with a knife. We've all cut ourselves with knives. Fortunately, not all of us have shot ourselves with a firearm. And it's going to have permission levels in terms of, there's a lot of places I'm not legally allowed to take this thing. I know a lot of people are going to look at this video and say, well, concealed means concealed. That is a conversation between you and your attorney and your God and your whatever else. That's not the conversation we're having right now. This is about the training that we are going to strongly recommend you put into working with this. You've gone to the range a lot of times. You are a person who possesses firearms. You know, what's your thought process on this? I babbled for a moment, so.
Well, that's a good question. So, right now, my firearms are locked up in a separate location, mainly because I live with somebody that actually doesn't have a license to carry, so I don't want to put anybody in that situation as far as like, even if they're
Legal
in the house,
questions?
yeah. They don't know how to use it, they don't know the legal repercussions, they don't know, you know, they even if like it's locked up and something happens in the house, like, and they use it, I think they can get in trouble.
In Massachusetts, this is a Massachusetts conversation. The answer is yes. In Massachusetts, in theory, it's up to the prosecutor's discretion, but in theory, the prosecutor could say, well, yep, we're not going to jam you up for defending yourself with the firearm. We're going to jam you up for possessing the firearm. And you know, and in case you're like, well, that will never happen, go look up how Massachusetts got tasers. That is exactly how we had the right to use electronic tools in the last couple of years, because twice women defended themselves with these electronic tools. Massachusetts did not prosecute them for using the taser. Massachusetts prosecuted these women, and it went to the Supreme Court for possession of an illegally owned or illegally possessed tool. That went through adjudication with the Supreme Court. That's eventually how we as regular citizens in Massachusetts got the right to carry electronic tasers. But they absolutely have prosecuted people for the possession of something that they weren't allowed to possess. So your friend is not legally allowed to possess or hold that. And possession technically means holding it. It gets sticky when you go to ranges and stuff like that. But so it's definitely something in consideration, guys.
And like I've taken her to the range before, and you know, kind of taught some of the basic stuff. But until you know she does get a little bit more training, I don't feel comfortable having them in the house as well.
A thing I was taught in basic firearm training class is, theoretically, if we're going from our vehicle to the range, the non-licensed person should not be carrying the firearm from the vehicle in a case into the range. If you're from a state that has different rules in Massachusetts, congratulations, we envy your freedom. I'm telling you some of the stuff that is in Massachusetts in particular with regards to licensing. So don't jam me up on, you know, my rights and my freedoms. I get it. I wish I lived in New Hampshire. I don't. I live here, and I'm dealing with the reality as it is here.
So that's kind of just where I stand. And
logical.
And you know, just the reasoning behind it is just, you know, I don't necessarily like carry one, but you never know when you might be in a situation where there might be one. And you just have to make sure that you know how to make it safe for people around. Like thinking about, you know, that mall situation. You know, what if somebody takes them out from behind and the gun just gets at your feet? Or you could probably think of the most ridiculous situations. But maybe now it's sitting there and there's a kid next to you, and you want to make sure that you pick it up first, make sure that it's safe so that the kid doesn't get hurt or picks it up, or, you know, like you never know what kind of situation, and they are part of today's world. So just making sure that you know how to make it safe is kind of just like the bare basics, right? Like,
100%.
You know, if you take out the magazine, there still might be one in the chamber, so you might have to actually know how to.
Of firing.
And you have to know that. And if you don't know that, and you just pull that magazine out, and you're like, oh, we're good, and you accidentally pull the trigger, and you know, you're like, uh-oh, I didn't know that that was a thing. That's
Yep, 100%.
Isn't that like
100%, 100%.
So it's just no in any type of situation, right? Like just knowing that stuff
What
is
did
going
I
to
could
be.
say? That's cap. So which one's the real? Which one's honest? That's the truth. I forget which one's cap and no cap.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm too old. See the gray of the beard, guys? I don't know. Cap. Sorry. Cap's something I put in my head, or Captain America. That's Cap. Some special mentions?
Yeah, really quick. We put phone, as in like you can take. You could take video or a picture.
Yep.
Like if somebody's
For
being
women,
wicked
yeah.
creepy on you, you could just be like, hold on, let me just take your picture for the police later. Like, or take video of like scenes happening.
Yep.
You can also use it as an impact weapon.
To the women's ones in particular, I heard a trainer once say, like, you know, you're alone, you're a female, and you recognize you are alone, and there's somebody being creepy. You call 911. 911 operator will stay on the phone with you as long as you need
Yep.
to.
Yep.
It's like, you know, I'm sorry, I don't think this is an emergency, but I want to get in contact with somebody because there's a person following me. Here's my physical location. And you know what? If they have an available unit, they'll roll somebody out there just to kind of say hi and wave at you. And this is successful deterrence. We like that.
An impact weapon as well.
If you're like, phone can't be used as an impact weapon, hold on. We know a person who very specifically dissuaded multiple assailants, 3 people in particular, from trying to take his stuff and hurt him potentially. The phone did not survive the altercation, but the person did. Hey, you gotta buy a new phone, but you don't know, cool story. So yes, that absolutely is a possibility. I mean, are you knocking somebody's skull in with it? No. Are you popping somebody in the face with it and then hitting them with something else? Sure.
And we have vehicles.
Yep, your vehicle is a semi-armored tank, right? It's not easy to hit through you ever tried punching a glass window or seeing somebody do it? It's not that easy to do. So it's a safety thing. It's a safety net, right? It's a de-ask the area, like get out of there. It's a very fast-moving thing. And in certain moments in times, women especially, like, it's a really large impact tool that you might be able to put to use in the course of getting yourself to safety. I'm not saying run people over because they're annoying.
Don't use the crosswalk. You can't run the
Yeah, exactly. Boston traffic's a thing. I get it.
It's 2 feet from you, and there's a button you have to press. Like, why did you just jump? Anyways.
Boston drivers are very angry, guys. But your vehicle absolutely falls in this category. Something. Remember we talked about affordances at the beginning. Something you can think about is how to put to use, and then. We're jiu-jitsu students, we're jiu-jitsu instructors, women, Allison teaches a women's self-defense class, like your body is absolutely a tool that does require training. We both know people who have broken their hands hitting heavy objects, AKA dead skulls. We know people who work on the medical side who, they see almost one a day in their OR of, it's almost always men, who have broken these and this from punching things, meaning people usually. So that requires training, right? That's get to your local training facility, knowing I don't super duper care what the martial art is, as long as they can teach you how to hit things correctly and not hurt yourself in the process. If everything is always wrapped and gloved up, sorry, you're not really learning self-defense. You might be getting a good workout in, that's cool, that's great. But if you're not learning how to put this, because you're not walking around wrapped up, gloved up, ready to rock and roll, how do you put this tool to work without hurting yourself in the process? What's your risk to it? And this can go everywhere, so.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. We know that, flashlight, impact, spray, knives, things that go pew, and then the special mentions, guys, of a phone, how it can be used as self-defense, vehicle, and your own personal body. You do you. This is your life. You make a decision on how you're gonna apply your time. Time is precious. It doesn't come back. How you're gonna apply your time to your training. For us, training, especially for adults, needs to be a life positive or a positive moment in your life. So we try to make sure it's fun, it's sweaty, it's a decent workout most of the time, and then we try to sprinkle these other things in there as much as we can to make sure we're getting that positive life moment and we're getting some self-defense effective training as well. Things you like to add?
I don't think so.
All right, very cool. Well, thank you guys for watching. As we said before, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and let us know topics and comments, guys.